Counter-narrative. Hello, well, welcome to Counter-narrative. Please like, comment and subscribe. Today we'll be talking about white privilege. In this instance, a blog by Ashneen Benjamin, who works in Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead at the Nursing and Midwifery Council. The blog Dear White People in the UK was posted on the NHS website. So firstly, it recommends reading a few texts. I read the blog White Privilege and Packing the Invisible Knapsack. So this was written in the late 80s by an academic, Peggy McIntosh. It reads like the framework for what would come in the following decades regarding white privilege. She also cites Robin DiAngelo's book White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. I've not read that, however Ben Shapiro did a great review / rebuttal of it. That's on YouTube and it's well worth a watch. So I just want to briefly talk about 5 tips the blog has for white people, which in itself is quite patronising. So number 1, don't be defensive. This isn't personal and it's not really about you. Everybody is at a disadvantage when our formal institutions perpetuate inequalities. So I think it is personal when you're claiming a whole race of people have privilege over everyone else. This is literally prejudice. You are prejudging white people because of the colour of their skin. So number 2, don't say I'm not political to excuse yourself from this conversation. Right now, ignorance isn't an excuse. You can't unsee what you've seen. So why can't someone who is apolitical excuse themselves from any conversation? We all know people who don't follow or are not interested in politics. For example, they have no views on Brexit, the economy or general elections, etc. So I'm supposing this is part of the silence is violence mantra that the left has. So then number 3, you don't have to be vocal but do listen. Listening means being open to hearing what black and minority ethnic people are saying. Be open to their lived experiences if they choose to talk about them. You would be hard pushed to find a black or Asian person that doesn't have a personal story of racism. So yeah, of course we should all listen to each other. But if assumptions are being made on one side, in this case white people have privilege, then it makes it hard to have dialogue. In reality, this seems that it's a euphemism for white people to be quiet, and it's making assumptions that every BAME person has suffered racism, which I'm sure isn't true. Yep. So number 4, work on your empathy. Visualise yourself in the other person's shoes. Discrimination is dehumanisation, and the only way to see a person as human is to empathise with them. So yep, totally agree with this. Don't discriminate, label or judge people solely on their race, gender or sexuality, including white people. So number 5 is the strangest of all. So be uncomfortable. So why? What purpose does being uncomfortable have? What does it achieve? We should all feel comfortable in our skins to express our own opinions without fear of losing a job or being ostracised. But this is a tactic on the left. Make people feel uncomfortable about having different views on climate change, racism, gender, etc. and they will simply shut up. This is the basis of cancel culture. If someone steps out of line, get them cancelled, and everyone behind them will get the message and fall into line. Make them uncomfortable to express their own opinions that don't fit the woke narrative. I just want to end by taking a look at these job adverts for the NHS. This is one of the reasons people are annoyed with this blog and diversity and equality spending in general. The amount of money being spent on it could be going to practical things like more GPs and nurses. However, it is being wasted on this silliness. Thanks for listening.